Hello everyone, Volker here from MSO-dlx.com, Microsoft Office Deluxe Tools. Shall we continue looking at working with charts? You know, this series is about working with charts. You have plenty of charts in Excel you need to frequently update and you present in PowerPoint. In the previous episode, we took a detailed look at the charting solutions available, and now we will see charts in action. You remember, no matter whether you're working with the chart objects with data table embedded or charts externally linked, there are certain challenges. And now in this sequel, we will work with these 3 slides. In the next sequel, we will update this pie chart and create this slide. Now, I've created these 2 slides, and a colleague has returned the file to me. He's added the company C, and he's also expanded the range of the analysis to 2022. All right, and he sent me the new data file here. All right, let's see how we continue. We need 2022 here, and this chart. Yeah, okay. Here we've got this chart. This one here is linked to an older version, and I could choose to relink this chart to a new version, and then I'd have to expand the data source. But I guess what I'll do is I'll set this chart to the same dimensions, Alt-click, as in PowerPoint, and I'm going to replace this externally linked chart, which is basically a control click. I can choose this menu entry here, and the chart's been replaced, linked to the most recent version. Okay, in this table we need another column to the right, which is going to take 2022, and the new data I've seen we have over here. So I'll grab the data from Excel, 4.1 times and 555, yes. When I've added the column, the row height changed, so I'm changing it back. Let's distribute the columns evenly, and let's align the figures, and I doubt the column titles are centered. Yep, right. Good. The table is fine. The chart still needs some editing for alignment. I'll move it down a bit. Now I'm sizing it so I have a good overlap for the column title rows. Then I can put it back to its original height. We have nicely aligned axis and so on still, and we're pretty much done. Maybe the columns, they look a bit sleek. I'd like to have them a bit thicker, maybe reducing the gap width to 120. Yeah, I guess we are done with this side. Let's save what we've got, Alt click, and the presentation is saved with date and timestamp. On to the pie chart. That should be in this, yeah, here it is. Should be in the source file as well. Its value is changed also. It's up to 9%. And I'll go the same route. I'll alt click here to assure this chart has the same dimensions as the chart over here. And I'm repasting it, but I noticed it has a fill here. So let's remove the fill and then a control click to replace the chart. This chart's been updated. Whoa, it has a border. Let's remove the border here. And in PowerPoint, I could either update or remove the border also. Let's just control click. So it's been updated nicely. How about the share price chart? What's the situation in Excel? Okay, my colleague made a few more analysis. Let's make a copy of this chart. We don't need the series for now, I think. And this chart has already been updated for 2022. But I don't think it makes a lot of sense starting in 2003 when our analysis here is starting in 2019. So maybe I want to start at the 8th of March in 2019, meaning I've got to limit the range here. So where in this column do I have this date? Let's look that up. We'll create a match for this value. And I'd better move it over into this column so it's a bit easier to write the formula. Match this part in this column, and I want to have an exact match. The date is sitting in this row, and now I can limit the data range to start there. Well, I wanted to take this chart, select the data, and we'll start now at row 4034. Okay, the axis seems to be set to absolute. Okay, and that's no longer 267%. That is, what is it? It is the end value minus the end value minus 40 M4034 divided by M4034 in percent. Like this. Good. We need to update this value. It's currently linked to this cell. Now we'll relink it to this cell, and we also need to make sure it's got the correct formatting. For the delta or trend labels, we're using the signage to emphasize whether it's plus or minus. That be it. This chart is selected, assigning the same dimensions as in PowerPoint. Alt-click and updating in PowerPoint, or if I want to have a few more tick labels, we'll have to change the interval. Maybe let's use half a year. And not sufficient space to have the data label horizontal. No, then we'll change it to vertically. No, I want to have it horizontal, and I'm changing the date format on the axis to month and year, or actually, let's see. Yeah. I should have changed the regional settings of my computer. So here we go, and expecting uppercase, I guess. Right. Okay, hold on a second. I'm going to change the regional settings of my computer. How come it's set to German? Ridiculous, isn't it? Okay, so probably I've got to restart Excel to pick up the changed regional settings here. All right, hold on a second, I'll be back. So, all right, I've restarted my Excel and my PowerPoint to pick up the regional settings set to English UK now. We have the correct date format on the axis. We've limited the start to March 2019, similar to here, running through 2022. And the 22 is a bit cut off. So let's decrease the size of the plot area a bit to assure 22 is fully shown. And here too, I notice, like we had in the pie chart, that we had a fill and a border, which we don't want in PowerPoint. All right, so then again, I want to work with externally linked chart. I'm control clicking and replacing the old chart with the new chart. 2019, 2022, 25%, 9%. That's pretty much it for this slide. Okay, now this slide is just being a repetition of the slide before. So I'll make myself a note. Don't want to waste your time. And moving on to this slide, because this slide has some challenges with it. I noticed my colleague hasn't sent me the data for company C. He's just pasted the chart, sent over the PowerPoint slide, and now I'm stuck without the data. I hope he's worked consistently. What I mean is that he's made a copy of the existing worksheets and just updated the data. The new data for the table we have here. So let's first update the data in Excel. Okay, that's not picked up the number format. It's taking it as text, yeah. So we'll replace the X by nothing, and it's picked up the figures. Good. This chart then also has been supplied with the new data, and I'll be office smart. You know what? I'm deleting this table and I'm grabbing the table from over here, Control C, pasting it into this placeholder, and now I have the old data in here. I'm updating it the other way around as I did before from here. Now back the data from PowerPoint to Excel, from Excel back to PowerPoint. Good. This chart, let's just assure we've got the same dimensions, just to be on the safe side. Yep. Okay, now we can replace this chart. Wait a minute, we have a different color, and now my chart, oh, the table is sitting in front, let's move it to the back, and I'll copy this chart over to here so that it doesn't assume the size from the existing chart. I'll remove it. I'll grab this chart for reference, and I control click to insert the chart, set it to the right position, and size and everything is fine. Good. Now we've got this side. For the pie chart, he has not delivered the data, it's 19%. So here we have 19%. Let's position the data label a bit better, like this, perhaps, and different color. I don't try. Yeah. This chart is different from this up here. So let's first pick up this chart for reference. And we are just going to delete this chart. And copy over this pie chart, control click, and put this chart up here and assign the same dimensions as we have on the other slide. Yep, cool. Right. Off to this chart. That's tricky. Where is it linked to? But actually it doesn't matter, I have version 4. What do? I don't have this chart's value. It's not a data table embedded. It's externally linked. You know what I do? I'll extract the values into Excel. Lots of values. It's taking a moment. Now the values have been extracted, and I can now pick up these values, Control C, and paste them in here. I'll paste them special with values and number formats, and the volumes I don't know. So that I just don't trick myself, I delete these values immediately. And here's my chart. And I need to adjust the data range. The data range goes from 4785 through 5541. $55.41 we said, and 47.85. Yeah, March 19, March 22. This data value is attached to the wrong data point, and we've got some 34 minus % development, something like 7, something like 12. Yeah, sounds reasonable. And we need to re-add the data label to the series at the end. I'll skip that one, change the language for you to English, and start over. Data label at the end. Don't want a data label at the beginning. And the data label to this series only. And I'll select this cell over here. Good. This data label arranged a bit more nicely, and the chart is ready to go into PowerPoint. Yeah. When I've extracted the data, it's also added a note where the data came originally from, but my colleague didn't send me this data file. I extracted the data of this chart, and also to be on the safe side, I'm going to delete this chart and repaste it from here, control click, externally linked. And yep, because I made a copy of the original worksheet, we again are pretty well formatted here in PowerPoint. Okay, so what we've done is we've updated this chart. Our colleagues sent the new data file, and I picked up the dimensions from the chart in PowerPoint, adjusted this chart, and pasted it over, again externally linked, now to the newest version. For the pie chart, we basically did the same, and for the share price, we did some adjustments to align the starting date with this chart, and then we copied over the chart to here as well. We've skipped this slide for the time being because there was just a repetition of the work we've done here, so you've seen that. And here I copied over the data from the table into Excel, and then I copied this table just because I'm a lazy guy and didn't mean to reformat the table, which was out of shape here, pasted it and copied over the copied over data from Excel, copied it back to PowerPoint. I've updated the chart, or the chart was updated accordingly when I copied the data into Excel, and the pie chart I updated manually, just entering the 19%, and for the share price it was a bit tricky because my colleague did not provide the data, so I extracted the chart with its data and I copied over the data into my charting file and set the data range, adjusted the data range accordingly to the date values I have here. One thing I noticed I missed at this point, setting the correct color. I could do so in PowerPoint or just control click one more time to update this chart. Okay, well, I'm a particular guy, so we also want to have matching font color, don't we? All right, so now we've updated these three slides. You remember that we had to navigate some challenges. You've seen those in action. In addition, you saw how to extract the data from charts where you don't have the sources. In the next episode, we're going to update the pie matrix here, and we are going to build the table and those charts as we see here. If you're interested, then stay tuned for the next video. So long, Volker from MSO-dlx, Microsoft Office Deluxe Tools.